Hello, how y'all doing? So, today I was in the car and I was just thinking, just kind of wanted to share my testimony today. Yeah, I've been doing these videos for a while and talking about all this stuff, but I haven't really gone, I mean, one a long time ago, I haven't really gone too much into my life though. I did on one a long time ago, but yeah, um, but not one here recently, and so. Yeah, I just want to share my testimony, just to relate, I mean, I can pretty much relate to almost anyone on this earth, at least in America, um, you know, probably not third world countries and stuff, but still, I know the struggle, I know the pain that, so much of us go through, and the hardships, and I know the love and the blessings of God, and being liberated and being reborn and all this stuff. I've experienced it all, and I've finally gotten to a place where I've overcome my addictions and myself, and so I just want to share my experience, my strength, and my hope, and get on a personal level. I feel like that would be really good, and I can relate to a lot of people, and that's what I want to do, be able to connect with each and every person that I can, that I possibly can, because I have a message, I have a message of love, that I feel that everyone should hear, and we're in a great time right now, the spiritual awakening, and all of you out there that are seeking out this information and knowledge, to enlighten yourselves and stuff, and coming into this love and this light, it just, I want you to know that you're loved and you're blessed, and that people are there for you, and that God's there for you. The other side is there for you, and we're all going to get through this. We're in some crazy times, amazing times, and you know, um, we're going through a beautiful transition, and I really can't wait for the end result of it. I can't wait to start the next life and stuff. I really can't wait. But so, so I'm just gonna start from the start until now, and anyone that takes the time to listen to this, that means a lot to me, and very grateful, that you take the time to listen to this. So I was born, in America, a little town called Watauga, Texas. Um, uh, had a pretty, decent childhood. I was loved very much by my grandparents and my mother and father. They were young parents. They did the best they could with me. No complaints early on. They fought a lot. They fought a whole lot. They were on drugs and stuff. They weren't living right. But who is at that age? They were 18, 19. They're 19 or 20 when they had me. So I get it. I understand. But they would fight a lot. They would fight a whole lot, and get yelling and loud screaming and throwing stuff and freak me out. It hurt me. It hurt my feelings. Just them fighting. Even won't be directed at me at all, but being an empath, like especially as a child, it really it's hard. It's rough. As you take on their emotions or feelings, and it gets intense. That's what I'm realizing now. And so they ended up getting a divorce whenever I was 8 years old, and like I was so grateful, like I was so happy, like I hear some parents, there so, I mean, some kids are so sad when their parents get a divorce and it messes them up, and it's like, oh no, but like I was grateful, like that's what they needed to do. They didn't need to be together no more, and I was able to understand and realize that at a young age, and I was so happy when they split up. Things got better for a small time, um, and but what happened was you know um, they once they split up, they decided that I should just live with my grandparents. They didn't really have the time for me anymore. They wanted to go find themselves to do their own thing, and I guess didn't want to take the time to take care of me, and it messed me up as a kid. It did. But at the same time, though, I had an amazing woman, my grandmother, that did the most for me. Like she was amazing. Her name's Johanna. I call her Nana. Um, she's like my real mother. I mean, she was just awesome, so awesome. I loved her so much, and she loves me so much, and she's still alive. So grateful for that. But But it was rough though. Like my mom, she'd call me and I talked to her on the phone, and she'd say that she was gonna come pick me up, and we'd go to the movies or go out to eat, and have a good old time. And so that's what I'd be looking forward to and expecting. And I'd be outside sitting on the curb waiting for her, and she would never show up. You know, and and that was rough. Emotionally. Like some people go through abuse and getting beat, which is horrible. Really, really horrible. Like Jess. Like so bad. And I feel for her so much. And I'm grateful I didn't have to experience that. But the emotional pain, though, I had to go through, to me, was just as bad. Like shoot, I'd rather have been around and get beat, than them not be there. That hole that put in my heart, and then to be told, hey, I'm gonna come spend time with you, and I'm so excited, and then not show up, like it was rough. It was rough. And then I was about 13 years old, and I learned that my father smoked pot, and like my whole world came crashing down. Like, 'cause, I mean, they got the DARE programs and all this stuff that, you're told that drugs are bad, and people that do them are bad and all this stuff. So, you're getting programmed, about this stuff. And really, I come to believe that really addicts and people that use drugs because of their emotional pain, because of how this world is, and it's very hateful and ugly. Some people are ugly that are on drugs, and they're just mean and vicious and hateful. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that just got shit on and don't know how to take this evil because they're good and they're loving, and so they use. I mean, there are some of the most amazing people that I know, and they're true blessings and true light in this world, and I'm so grateful to have known them, and for them to be my inspiration and my strength as well. But so I found out my dad smoked pot, and he was doing a lot of things I didn't know about. I just heard about the pot, and I was so messed up, so sad about it. I sank. I just sunk. I was depressed for a while, and so like they'd be alone in the room, and I couldn't go in there, and I didn't ever understand what that was about until, okay, wait a minute, now I know you smoke pot, now you're hiding something from me, and that's what it is. And so I confronted him about it, or I confronted his girlfriend at the time, Heather, and so he told me about it. He led me in the room, and he's like, okay. So he told me everything about it, showed me all the stuff, and then offered. Was like, hey, do you if you want to do with us, you can. And so I saw this opportunity. That the times that I mean at this time, like I did start seeing my father more. I'd see him once a week. My mom was still not as often. She'd come around some, but I was living with my grandparents, and this went on until I was about 14, 15. Something happened, but I'll get to that. But I did see my dad though, but then they'd be smoking pot all the time, and so I never got to see him. But then he told me about it, showed me about it, and so I was like, well, in my mind, I was like, oh, well, my dad does it. It must not be that bad, Like I love my dad. My dad's amazing. I used to want to be like him. He'd offer me to go with him to work sometimes, and I would go and miss school, and it was the greatest. Like it meant so much to me. And so he's always talking about this pot and everything, and like so I start thinking that it's not so bad because I know my father and he's not bad, and I love him very much. And so if I can love someone that does this stuff, then I can do it too. And he's offering for me to do it. It must not be that bad. And no, pot is not bad, but for me it was a gateway. Like I don't care what people say, when you're that young, and you don't have the wisdom and the knowledge of what life's about yet, and then you got something that helps with that you don't gotta fake, something that produces emotions in you, produces good feelings in you instead of your own. Then yeah, it comes very confusing, and and then I wanted to search out other things, like hearing about other stuff, and just getting in that environment and that lifestyle was not good for me. It was my gateway for me personally, and that's just my take on that one. But so I spoke pot to him, and he told me not to do it with no one else ever, only do it with him. Well, of course, you know how that works out. I started doing it with my friends. I had some neighbors across the street that moved in, and I'd sneak out, and they'd be partying and stuff, and be drinking and all that, and girls be over there, and and just wanting to be cool, wanting to fit in, wanting to be like the guys. I mean, we all go through that. We all go through that approval, but at the same time, though, I knew I was very different. I knew that I wasn't like them. My nature wasn't like them. They treated me differently. I got made fun of. I got taken advantage of. I got used for my money, because I wasn't like them. and it hurt a lot. Um, like my best friend Dustin, he passed away when he was 20 years old, and it was one of the hardest deaths I had to deal with. Um, but I'll get that. So yeah, so I had these friends, had these great friends. I had this one dude, twin, that I looked up to so much when I was younger. I sought comfort in their approval, and I ended up having a kid whenever I was 16. Um, so I ended up getting I got caught with pot at school when I was 15, and I had to go to juvie, and I got put on probation for that, and and then eventually, like I started doing coke and ecstasy when I was 14. From the pot to that stuff, and then I smoked speed once when I was 14 with Dustin, and then I got on it real bad when I was 16, like real bad, whenever I got my baby mama, and that was just no good. That was just a bad situation all around. Um, like she would beat up on me and stuff, like she really would, and it would hurt my feelings so bad. Like she was hitting on me one time, and I just had to grab her and throw her down on the bed, and I was tearing up, and I was like, stop, why are you doing this? And it was crazy times. Lots of life experiences, lots of things of going through that were not good, to get understanding of how the world is. Who's really your friends, who's not, who really cares about you, who doesn't. And I couldn't get clean, couldn't stay clean. I messed up probation. They sent me to a juvenile center 3 times when I was 16, or 15 and 16, and couldn't do it. I ran every time. And then one of the times I ran out, I come back to my mama's house just to see her have 2 dudes over, and she ended up sleeping with one of them around the time that she got pregnant. So I had to get a paternity test done for my own, to just, for my own security of knowing that, hey, this is really my daughter or not. And it turned out she was, and I was very grateful. But yeah, and like I treated her the best that I possibly could, being a young addict, not knowing what life's about yet, not having any kind of father figure, but one that was in the streets, twin probably, I could say, probably was like more a father figure that I looked up to at that time. I mean, I was like 16, 15, 14, 15, 16, and he was like 28, 29, 30. So naturally I looked up to him, and if anyone was a father figure, it would have been like him, and we don't talk no more, but so I got locked up, and of course no one writes you, no one's there for you, and then you realize who really cares about, and then you start seeing, you look back on your life and you see how you were taken advantage of, how people just used you, and then being made fun of, because you're a gentle, caring, loving soul, and people don't understand that, and they're hateful at that because they're not like that, and they don't understand, they don't get it, and they think it's weak. They think, but really it's not. Like you think it's easy being that way, and dealing with being shitted on all the time. Like you really think that's weak? No, like them are really some of the toughest, strongest motherfuckers, in my opinion. That's just me. Like I got no fear. I got no fear of no man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm the most loving, gentle person. And but it's all good though. I've learned a lot, and I have love for everybody, and I don't hold no grudges or no ill will on any person at all. And I'm there for anybody that needs me, and I always have been. I've always done the most for people, even people that take advantage of me and just use me. I'm still there for them because I don't care. Like I know my purpose is to love and be loved, no matter what. And I used to struggle with that. My heart kind of wanted to get hard for a little bit, like what happened whenever I was so I got out of that rehab, right? I was there for 14 months, and I got out of there. It's one of the times I got closest to God. Like it was amazing. Like I just found God in a whole new way. Like if you've never been locked up and had to experience, any lessons that God personally wants to teach you Himself, just like, because there's things I see people get away with their whole lives and never have to go do no time like that. But they don't believe in God. They don't care about God. They don't understand God. They don't have a good nature. They may be good to people and respectful, but their nature is still not good. They don't understand goodness. And so when and God doesn't personally step in and teach them things, and this is how it is, like you gotta choose to love God. You gotta choose to open your mind and eyes and heart to Him, or He's not just gonna, if you don't have that love for Him, He's not gonna come after you. You gotta have that love for Him, which I've always had, and But yeah, I found him in there. It was awesome. I got out, so ready to be a dad. I got into college. I got a job. You know, I was ready to take life serious, take life by the horns. You know, um, and so started seeing my daughter. And something happened. She hit me up. She wanted to say, hey, like I found out she wanted to say, hey, I'm ready to be with you. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna leave him, but you got to be about it. You got to be serious. And well, since I missed the phone call, she thought I wasn't about it. Wasn't serious. I didn't mean to miss the phone call. And then I asked if I could see my daughter by myself because she was always with her new man, which made me uncomfortable. Like how I couldn't connect with my daughter with this other dude right there. That, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to love this chick. I had nightmares every single night about us breaking up, splitting up. You know, and she left me hanging in there. She wrote me while the first 2 months while I was in Kimbo, and then she never talked to me again after that, and it messed me up. Like I literally had nightmares every single night about bad things happening to me and her. It was, I mean, my first love, you know, and but so in seeing that, I just you know, it was hard for me to be able to bring out my soft side for my daughter, you know, with them right there. And it just wasn't comfortable. So I asked if I can, you know, be with my daughter alone or with my mom, you know, and spend time and get to know my daughter. And once I said that, that was it. She pulled out and didn't never let me see my daughter. Well, for about 4 years, but I'll get into that here in a minute. So that messed me up. So I, of course, went down, you know. Again, you know, it just hurt really bad, and I started doing uphills with my mom, real bad. And that was a time though that me and my mom kind of got a connection again, because like whenever she came back in my life, whenever I got that charge when I was 15, she came back in my life, and I was so resentful at her, like for not being there, you know, and leaving me hanging all them times. Like I just rebelled and bucked at her, and like we fought and fought, and it was horrible, really bad, really bad. But when I got out of there though, I started doing pills, and after a while, things got a lot better between us for a time. Um, but I was 20 years old. I was 19, 20 years old, and so I lost 3 friends all in the same year. Okay, and so I was doing was taking OxyContin and stuff. My mom had it all the time, and so basically heroin, you know. And well, all of a sudden she decided that she was gonna stop, you know, one day, and not get it no more. She didn't like what she saw in the mirror. Well, like it's not fair. I'm not ready to stop, you know. Like I'm full blown all in it, ready to go. Like I'm young and shit still, you know. Like let's do this, you know. Was, you know, my take on it. And it wasn't like doing, you know, hard drugs, you know. I didn't see the problem with it. Like take OxyContin, I'm flying. Like I want to do everything and anything. I got energy, motivation. Like I feel more me than I've ever felt. Right? You know, I'm sure some of y'all can relate. Um, and so um, so yes, that happened, and then and I lost 3 of my friends all the same year. Okay. First one was Derek. He got shot in the face with a shotgun. It's really messed up. Really messed up. Like he had a friend of his. They're both his friends, right? One of them got ripped off by the other friend for like a couple ounces of weed, like 2 to 4 ounces of weed. Okay, and well, Derek was helping this other dude, the one dude that killed him, get testosterone. I mean, get steroids, right? And so, well, and I think Derek was doing them too. I'm not sure, but so Derek goes over to confront the dude, and he brings a baseball bat, and he goes up to the dude's door, you know, and he's beating on the dude's door, and they open the door, right? Unlock it, open the door, crack it. He comes rushing in, and they shoot him right in the face with a shotgun. It was horrible. Like it, man, my heart just it messed me up. Like I was my first close friend that I grew up since first grade, knowing all them years, you know, and being good friends with. Um, you know, they're right down the street, you know, and it's being taken like that, you know, senselessly, you know. And then my next friend, I wasn't that close to him as I was to some of the other ones. We just didn't connect that way, but still, I had love for him, you know. I mean, empaths love everybody, really, you know. They care for everybody, even if you're dark and hateful and ugly, you know. You still find a way to forgive and see the good in people. Like that's just, you know, we love to a fault, you know. And but because he was with my baby mama, at first before I got with her, and so I think he had some resentment to me about some stuff, you know. But it was whatever. We never clashed, you know. We just didn't click as well as I did with some other ones. But he passed. He overdosed, right? And his girl basically let him die. And there was like some suspicious too, like what really happened, and like he was kind of like he was killed or something. I'm not for sure with all that, but I know that he had a bunch of methadone and speed in his system, and he died. And that right there really messed up Dustin, because Dustin and him were super close. Um, and I just had a lot of love for Dustin, because there's times when it would just be me and him chilling, and me and him just had a bond and a connection. We understood each other, and he had love for me that he would only express to me. But not other people were around. It was like he couldn't do that in front of people. You know, he couldn't be my friend like that in front of people. He had to be cool. You know, but he was an amazing, beautiful soul. Like, I have much love for him. You know, and even the times he'd take advantage or, you know, basically use me for my money, at the same time, I still knew that behind the scenes he did have love for me. He did care about me a lot. He'd tell my mom this, you know, that he'd always have love for me and always be there for me. You know, and that dude, that motherfucker meant a lot to me. Like, he meant a whole lot to me. And he's being dumb playing with the damn gun, and it's either himself or it's possibly this other girl. Um, you know, he got accidentally shot in the head. Either he accidentally, because supposedly the chamber was supposed to be messed up and it wasn't working. Well, all of a sudden, I mean, they're drinking Four Locos and taking bars, and playing with it. And I don't know. I don't see him. I don't see him doing this and playing with the gun, doing that. He's one of the type to do that. Like, yeah, he played with guns and shit, but not retarded like that. He was very depressed. He'd given up on life since Kevin died, you know. But I just don't see that. Like, really, I think it was the girl playing around with the gun, you know, thinking it's broken, and shot him accidentally in the head. Um, and he died. He died the next day. He was on life support for a few hours, and they took him off. And that was really hard, really, really hard. So, like, when that happened, like, I had fingers up at God, like, F you, you're not a loving God. Like, and I was very depressed growing up, you know, being on drugs and stuff. It never really did what I wanted it to do. It never, you know, like, for the moment, but I just don't ever remember being happy. I just remember being really sad and not caring if I lived or died. And it got to where I would do drugs, basically trying to kill myself, but out actually, like, if you wanted to kill yourself, you would do it. Like, it's not that hard. You would know, like, okay, so if I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna put this much in here and make sure that I'm gone. Okay, so it wasn't like that, but I would do so much to feel so good that it would be an insane amount, whether it was snorting a bunch of X-tabs or you know. And then it got to, once this happened, I started shooting heroin, because I was already taking the pills. My mom stopped, and so I had to, and I found out heroin was cheaper, you know. And then my homeboy David, who's another one who passed away just about a year ago, but I'll get to that one towards the end. But and that's probably like he's another major gap hole in my heart that's left my life. But this is one for God to fill, you know. But so so yeah, like, I was so mad at God, you know. Like, I was so depressed. I didn't care if I lived or died. I felt like, you know, take me. Why you gotta take them? These were beautiful souls, you know. They had lives they wanted to live, you know. Like, I never didn't feel like that. Like, I knew I had a purpose, but I didn't. I didn't understand it yet. I didn't really know I had a purpose at this time, you know. And I just knew I was different. Um, but you know, and I was just so mad at God, and I turned my back on him for about 4 years. All right, started shooting heroin, you know, doing the most. I OD'd so many times, you know. My friend got so mad at me, my friend Joe Mendoza. He'd get so mad at me because I would do so much, you know, for like, it was at the time, it was my tolerance so low. I just started doing it, you know, and I would, you know, do a amount, and this was good at the time, really good stuff. And and I would be retarded with it. I'd want to get to that point that, you know, where, like, as if you don't do enough, it's like, oh man, you know, I need more. And so you got to do a certain amount to get where you got that nod and that feel good and that blanket, and it's like, oh yeah. So it was hard for me to find that sweet spot, and I didn't care, you know, if I was gonna go out or not. Like, there times I'd be alone and go out, and I'd wake up. I probably shouldn't have. Like, if I was anybody else, you know, I may have not ever woke up. There's plenty of times I woke up on bathroom floors, you know, hours later, that, you know, like, by the grace of God I woke up, you know. It's just retarded, and thankfully the other, and okay, and what, I'm doing something right now. I'm sorry. Um, man, that's okay. I told them, about 15 minutes ago, I'm about to be busy. I'm about to do a thing right now. I need privacy. I don't know why my mom can't help her. It makes no sense. It's very frustrating. I cannot wait to move out of here. I cannot wait. It was very frustrating, very angering, but I'm learning to deal with it. I'm coping. Work in progress. But so I just can't get off track. This means a lot to me. I want to get this out there, people that relate, to give my experience, strength, and hope, like trying to go to my deepest, darkest times to my best times. And I can't, I got to do this right now while I'll focus on it and stuff, in the moment. So, and then whatever she needs me, I got her. But okay. So, um, so yeah, uh, mad at God. Turned my back on him. I lost those 3 friends, and I ended up meeting my best friend Kayla. Probably when I was about 22. I was about 22. And she needed, she didn't have nowhere to go. She needed a place to stay. So I talked my mom into letting her live with us. We were best friends for like 3 months, and then we ended up getting together. Um, and and she kind of helped me bring me back to God in some ways. Not all the way back yet, but in some ways. And so in this time, like, I feel like something really dark got on me, because having my back on God, like, he's like, okay, well then you're gonna, then the darkness is gonna go at you, because you are a child of light, you are one of mine. I'm here for you, I'm never gonna leave your side, but now you're opening the door for some really negative shit. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I'm in no way a poor me kind of person, or self-pity kind of person at all. When I'm myself, when I'm me, I don't like that. I don't like when other people are like that. I don't need your tears. I don't need, your poor me's or anything at all. But there's a time though that something, would whisper in my head, to cut myself, because all the mistakes I would make, all the times I'd hurt people, all the things that I would do that I blame myself for, it hurt real bad. And they say if I cut myself, I feel better. You deserve it. You deserve the pain, and so something happened, right? And it was real traumatic on me, real traumatic. I didn't know how I was going to cope with it. I didn't know how to accept it, take it. And I was on drugs, shooting meth at the time. And so in my moment of confusion and panic, I stabbed myself. I did. I'm going to show again. I've showed it a couple times, but so right there, yep, and I did it 7 times. Several different spots, all at the same time. The other ones came later. Although this was my first mutilation that I did on myself, right? And I had to get carried to the hospital. I was just so depressed. I was so sad. All my friends dying. I'm a fuck up. I'm a loser. I'm a drug addict. I'm no good. All these negative thoughts. Now, I promise there's so much positive to this. This story doesn't end very well, but this is just my deepest, darkest moments. Okay, and so. Yeah, so I did that. I get carried out of the hospital. I had to get reconstructive surgery. I got really close to hitting an artery that goes to my heart. If I didn't get carried out of the hospital, I would have died. I would have bled out. It was bad. It was really bad. I was just losing a piece of my heart that I couldn't lose, and by doing that, I ended up saving that piece of my heart, and things ended up, like, the person understood that they cannot control my life that way, and they cannot dictate who can be and who cannot be in my life, and I already lost my daughter, too. Like, that got taken from me, like, it just, everything would get stripped from me. I've already been locked up for 14 months, in that rehab, still locked up, and away from your family, can't leave, being told what to do, and so, yeah, it was hard, really hard. And then after that, like, how exhilarating that was. Like, it was amazing. Like, it's in a sick way, right? Like, whoa, like, that felt amazing. And then being in the helicopter, like, looking down and shit, like, it was like, it's sick. Like, how does someone think that's awesome? Like, you don't, there's something wrong with me in there. There used to be something really wrong with me in there. Then so I realized how good that felt. So, and that wasn't a really big extreme. Who does that? No one I know. It's crazy, It ain't that bad, dude. It really ain't that bad. But I guess it can be, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't that bad to me in that moment. And even when that stuff mutilated can understand that, they know where I'm coming from there, and it's okay. You can overcome it. You can beat it. It's very, very beatable, very, very overcomable. God has much love for you. You can recover. You can learn to live again. You really can, and it's amazing. Like, my quality of life, I feel like it's so much better than other people's qualities of life that do have figured out to have made it, because the depths and the lows that I've overcome, and the mistakes that I made and dealt with, and learned from. I'm just so blessed, so blessed. But when I would do something, like, I was with Kayla, and she would do things. She would talk to dudes and flirt with dudes, let dudes talk to her certain ways. I didn't know if she was shitting me or not. And then she would talk about me and talk shit on me behind my back, whispering to people, but in a way that I could know and overhear it, and then make me think I'm crazy. Like, I'm not hearing that, dude. You're nuts. So I thought I was schizophrenic when really I wasn't, and got on all these meds and shit because of my self mutilation and cutting myself. And so it got real bad. It got real bad, and I would do it, all over my arms and stuff. And then, like, right here on this sun right here, I stabbed myself again with a steak knife, and had to get stitches in there. That one was pretty bad. Straight up, with, like, me and Taylor were drinking, and got in a big old bad fight, and I just took it out on myself, like, not even thinking twice. Like, these things would happen, I wouldn't even be thinking about it. Like, I just, like, no, this is what's gonna feel good. This is what's gonna relieve this anger and frustration and pain and feeling like a failure. It would release all that. Anyone that's ever been a cutter would understand that. And then people be like, oh, you're just wanting pity. You're just, oh, poor me, like, get over yourself. But that's never what the case was. Like, literally something put in my head that it would make me feel better. In no way was it for anybody else but me. I did that for me, and why it's so freaking bad is because the worse it was, the better it would feel. That's crazy, but that's what I was being told, and that's how it felt. It did feel better, But then, like, it got to where, like, along the lines, like, I got on my leg right here, like, and back of my leg. You can see back of my leg, got it too. And then up here on my knee, and then I even got it up here on my leg, right? That's how bad it got. And I got the same thing on this leg, and same thing down here, like, just everywhere that I could. Even on my back, on my neck, like, it got bad, so bad. I'm like Jack the Ripper, okay? It was so bad, and yeah, but I get made fun of, or just just all this self-pity and stuff. Whenever, yeah, it was self-pity in a way that, like, I didn't like how I was feeling,